So Spirit has just won the biggest tournament so far in 2024, taking down some of the biggest names in FaZe and Na'Vi to get there. And one name has been at the tip of everyone's tongues, it's Donk.
Dispatches of him and look at Donk do it! That's disgusting! Revolting from Donk!
Over the whole of IEM Katowice, Donk has averaged a 1.70 HLTV rating. Now, for context, that is the single highest rating in Katowice history, with the previous highest being Nico with a 1.51 rating. So these stats are just simply ridiculous, and I think everyone wants to know, how does he do it? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. So Donk's mechanics are clearly world class, but they are actually even better than you think. So I noticed this from watching a video from Sticko where he was analyzing Donk from his game against Apex, and Sticko mentioned a specific kill where Donk hit a perfect adjustment to kill Jacob. And this is the thing that is so crazy about Donk. His ability to make an accurate adjustment so consistently is honestly the best I've ever seen in Counter-Strike. Here's another example, and honestly I could just go down the list, but just notice how he literally never overflicks or underflicks. This is a huge part of his game, and almost every other player does overflick or underflick in some capacity, but Donk somehow has perfected this part of his game. Donk is by far the most efficient aimer in Counter-Strike, and that's extremely important. Donk's floor mechanically is incredibly high, and this is what allows him to consistently put out these incredible performances. One of the other things I notice about Donk is that he never stops moving. Everyone knows that peeking into angles is super strong in CS2, and while some updates have slightly nerfed this, peeker's advantage is still definitely a thing, and you can't just stay static holding angles anymore, especially if the angle is an easy one to pre-aim. This is why Donk is always moving, especially when holding angles. He wants to be the one peeking into the angle and not the other way around. He wants to reverse the roles. So yeah, Donk's aim is great, but I think that's something people haven't really been looking at too much, is that Donk isn't necessarily always in great positions to find kills. You'll often find high fragging rifle players in kind of lurk positions or in positions where they can play the late round for their team. And this is why Donk is actually not involved in many clutches at all. In fact, he is the first entry player in many of Spirit's rounds. At Katowice, Donk had the highest opening kill attempts as well as the highest success rate. So on both CT and T sides, he was often involved in the very first duel of each round, and he wins this duel over 70% of the time, which is just clearly ridiculous. So let's look at how he entries sites and positions on the map. The first example here is against Falcons, and take a look at how this first kill plays out. So Donk is actually going to be pre-aiming the headshot angle towards the long side, but unfortunately for Snappy, he is in direct line of sight for Donk to secure this kill. And what's important about this swing here is how wide Donk swings out. This is super common if you watch Donk's games. He's going to always swing out a little bit wider than you'd expect to offset his opponent's aim and make full use of peeker's advantage. Donk is a seriously deadly entry fragger, and his ability to win a pure one-on-one duel is something that we have never seen before. In this game here against FaZe, Donk is the first entry on this particular A-site execute from Spirit, and I want you to look specifically at where he places his crosser and how he progresses onto the site. As the first entry, he is trying to make space for his team to progress onto the site, but he makes sure that he does this without just throwing his life away completely, which is what we see a lot of first entry fraggers do. However, Donk is going to wait just a second before progressing when he gets flashed here. He doesn't want to put himself in a disadvantage when he is trying to open up the site, so he's going to wait a second and then continues on to get the entry onto Rain. Here is another example of this exact same strategy, and you can see a lot of similarities here, except this time he is able to just continue onto his entry path a little bit faster, and this allows him to spam out Rain at triple box and then continue on to find an additional 2 kills. You'll also notice that Donk never makes any lazy movements with his crosshair. It's always going to be in a very useful spot for him to find a kill, and you'll notice this when he makes adjustments as well. For this mid example here, he's going to adjust from 3 different positions in almost an instant. He's so efficient at doing this, and this is what allows him to really make quick adjustments and get the kills he needs. Now, the thing that really makes Donk truly take over games is the support and the system around him. A lot of people forget just how good the other parts of Team Spirit are. Obviously, you have Shiro, who is still a world-class AWPer and has been a top AWPer in the world many years in a row. Chopper, as the veteran IGL, is a big part of this team's success as well. He's the one calling the strategies, and he calls him extremely well. He's built the system as well. You'll actually see Chopper a lot supporting donk when he's trying to take map control, and this is a big part of both their CT and T sides. Magix is also a super reliable anchor and supportive player with some surprisingly strong abilities in the clutch as well. And the final piece, which I feel like is actually super underrated, is Zontix. He has consistently been the third best rated player on the team and is often Donk's right-hand man when taking map control or entering sites. So while Donk has been incredible, his team seriously takes him to a whole new level. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. Peace out.